Heyo, episode 8. What's up, Marcus? How you doing?
Yeah, man. What's up, my boy? What's up, my guy? This episode is really good, man. We talked about three major topics. We talked about, confidence in relationships, confidence in bullying, or at least, the way to persevere through that.
Yeah.
And then we talked about motivation versus habit and why you want to be a more habitually motivated person than a motivational, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You want your actions to come out of habit rather than out of kicking yourself in the butt every day in the morning. Yeah.
And I'd also like to thank our sponsor, Bearded Goat. I've been working with them since before this podcast even started, and I really like their brand. I really like what they stand for. All of their apparel is made in the USA. Super comfy, super awesome stuff. They just dropped their fall and winter line, so cop some. Use the code NICOL15 to get 15 off, and orders of $85 or more is free shipping. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with it, man, honestly.
Sounds good.
All right, hey, guys, give it a listen.
Yep. Why you hating, my boy?
Marcus, how you been, buddy? It feels like it's been a while since we've caught up on the podcast.
Yeah, you could say that again, man. It has been a minute. I've been real good. I've been really good, and then also really, really bad, and then really, really stressed. It's been a journey, and just like 3 days out of this week, man.
So what happened? I mean, tell us the week.
Okay. Well, it starts off. I'll put it on Sunday. It starts off on Sunday. I had done a really, really bad job. I procrastinated on one of the biggest things I've been working on in my life, and that's this business plan proposal that we've been planning on giving to SGA for the billboard business.
Yeah, you've been talking about that for quite some time, haven't you?
Yeah.
Like
And
the past couple weeks, probably.
Yeah, I've been talking about it here on the podcast a lot. It's been a solid 6 months of work that we put into designing this business, most of which we did over the summer, but what we did not do, we didn't. This might sound really stupid, but we really didn't think too much about how we were going to present this thing to SGA until literally Sunday night. I'm not kidding.
That's not a good plan.
Well, okay. So here's what our mentality was. We've already made the deal. We already signed our portion of the contract. We both agreed on the contract. This wasn't a presentation. We're not making a pitch of any kind. We're not like asking them to buy into something or asking them to give us money. It's just like kind of a report. So like my whole like vibe was, hey, we'll email this thing to them. Their meetings are on Tuesday, so I figured, hey, we'll email this out to all of them. They can mull it over. If they got any questions, we just show up, give a brief synopsis of it, and then my president's like, no, we really need to to build that good rapport with this organization that we're going to be partnering with for this business. Student government, we've got to, as the entrepreneurship club, we've got to put on good face, dress up nice, give a presentation, PowerPoint, making everything crisp and nice, and plus there are a lot of new senators and office members in SGA that have no idea what the heck this whole thing is. So
what are the roles of the officers in the SGAs, and can you explain those two sort of in depth so they can understand?
Well, first things first, SGA is a Student Government Association. That's they're the student organization that manages all student activity on the campus. The Wright State's campus, the college that I go to. Colleges in general, they're a relationship between students and professors. We pay the money, the professors get the money and teach us. Administration, things like that, technically only exist to be paper pushers of sorts and make sure that other business that universities can manage, mull over and tick over nicely. SGA specifically manages all that student interaction. So that's University Activities Board, which is just like every student activity. Like if we have a speaker or a concert or a comedian come on campus, whatever, they manage that. It's all the clubs, all the orgs, like mine, Entrepreneurship Club. They set up just about everything. They run student legal services. They run and help fund a number of the recreational services that we have on our campus. So this is like a huge deal. They make ridiculous bank every year too. Like every every student government association on every campus in terms of how much money students bring into the school. They bring in a large chunk of it. They bring in bank, absolutely. So yeah, the nature of this relationship is really we, the club, our president, essentially signed a deal with the president of SGA. The other senators and other office members, a lot of whom I don't even understand a lot of the inner workings. I just know that each class of students, you have your commuters, you have your residents, you have your folks who are in each business or each type of college. So this is a business college, the College of Liberal Arts, College of Math and Micro, what all the different colleges. They each have their own senator that everybody votes for. So, for example, I elected our senator for the business school, and since I'm also a commuter student, I also elected our senator for commuter students. And then there's a bunch of offices and committees and ridiculous stuff that I don't know anything about. I wish I could help folks out, but yeah, in general, we were just there, to just give this presentation, and it, for some reason, it just got made extremely stressful when we were literally about 2 hours away from giving this presentation. I go into depth about that, but what I'd really prefer to go into depth to is the frickin' angst that I went into the next day. Okay?
All right.
So we did the presentation Tuesday night. Like I said, there were issues, but the presentation itself went off without a hitch. I was a little nervous, but once we got the Q&A, I really took off. I love conversating with people, and it's more of a conversation. The next freaking day, man, I thought the whole plan, all the 6 months of work that we put into everything, it was all in danger of falling to pieces.
Oh wow, it was
absolutely that. Like everything was in danger of falling to pieces. And it all happened in the span of 13 hours after we gave that presentation. So basically by midday the next day of school, I'm about to pull my hair out, freaking out about what's happening. I talked to Cameron about it. We went out to Chick-fil-A yesterday. Cameron Kaufman, our first guest that we had on the podcast, and he helped me, vent and sort my thoughts about all of this. But I was just so stressed, man.
I mean, I bet it. That's like your baby, dude. You've been working on this forever.
Nico, man. Yeah. I was about to lose it. Absolutely. I don't want to go into too many details, but essentially it was a commitment issue. We just wanted to make sure that we understood with the shape that our organization is in going forward, that we had the proper kind of assurances, so to say, from student government that things were going to go forward smoothly. And from some things that had happened fairly recently surrounding that whole presentation and everything like that, we no longer were sure about that. But as I understand it now, things are all fine. We made sure that we were clear and heard, and they kind of reciprocated a bit. So things are going forward nicely. But oh my god, like I said, in the span of 13 hours, I went to bed thinking, yeah, man, we just knocked that out of the park. Yeah. And I wake up to a string of text messages in our group chat about just pardon my language, but just shit. And I'm just like, damn. And then by the time I turn off my ringer when I'm in class, I get out of my last class at 11:05, and I check back in on that group chat, and I'm like, what? Sat down with our president around 1:45. I'm like, what? oh god, I don't even want to get into the details because I can rehash this whole thing for hours, man. But it was stressful, but everything's fine now.
That's good.
Yeah, that's the most major thing that's been going on in my life lately.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you, man? What's been going on with your life?
Dude, I was sick, super sick Sunday and Monday. I slept for 13 hours, or 15 hours, sorry.
Oof.
Yeah, I slept from, I think it was, I don't fucking remember, some odd amount of time on Sunday night, up until 3:50 on Monday. I woke up, showered, hung out for a bit, went right back to bed, dude. I was so sick.
Oh.
And then
that's
Tuesday,
really rough.
Yeah. Tuesday, I just sort of worked and hung out, didn't do much. Same with Wednesday. And then today, I signed for my apartment, and I have my apartment now.
What?
So.
You got your own place, boy?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
It's a small little place. I mean, there's nothing too crazy. I mean,
Mhm.
you and I moved some furniture of mine into it,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's pretty cool. I mean, we got a new little room for recording now, so hopefully that goes well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna move all that shit on Sunday probably. So
I'm gonna move all that shit whenever the fuck.
yeah, you know,
one of these days.
I just went shopping for the apartment. So
Mm-hmm.
that was really my week, other than being sick. The other big thing was the apartment.
That's a huge deal though. This is your first time moving out, man.
Yeah, that's true. I'm super nervous, but I'm also super excited. So
Okay. Well, why nervous?
because it's the unknown, you know, it's something new. It's pushing me out of my comfort zone, but that's
Mhm.
all right. I mean, if you can't grow without being uncomfortable, you know.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
I think the funny thing is, I won't even be able to stay the night at my apartment until Sunday because we're going to Bowling Green.
Yeah, we're going to Bowling Green this weekend.
Oh shit! I don't know why I'm going
Buys
to
an
Bowling
apartment, moves and all this stuff. Okay,
Green. I'll see you on Sunday.
I'll be back in like 3 days, bitch.
Yeah. So.
Oh man.
So what are we talking about today?
I don't know. I think we should talk about confidence.
All right, I'm down. We've touched on the subject a couple of times throughout the past couple episodes, so it would be good to have its own little section in today's talk. I think that's a good idea.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I guess we should talk. At least hint at the sort of the inception of this. We were just having a conversation about this guy that we know in our lives, and his woman. She had a little something going on where where essentially this guy was feeling a little jealous. So I don't know, I kind of just suggested like, hey, you know, typically if you ever have reason to feel jealous if you're a guy, if you have any reason to feel jealous of the woman that you have in your life, it tends to be because some other guy, as I put it, is in the driver's seat, so to speak. You know, some guy is in charge in some aspect, and your girl really likes that. You know, either it's something that he's like particularly competent at, or maybe it's just an attitude that he walks with that perhaps, at least in that area, you don't. I think that's an area where if you boost your confidence and you kind of put forth that sort of that sort of like positive masculine energy of like, I got this, you know, stability, so to speak. I think you could alleviate a lot of the problems you see in your life.
Well, I like to sort of look at it from a different angle. Rather it being the other person, I think the reason why the guy may or may not be jealous is because of an insecurity of himself. You know, maybe he sees something that his girlfriend might not, you know, and it reminds him of something he doesn't have, like confidence-wise. If he's, say he's not, the guy's really tall or something, and he's pretty short, maybe he's a little insecure about his height, or maybe he doesn't have the confidence to speak, and that's why he's insecure about it, you know. I think it's more insecurity rather than the other person. Because, I mean, if you're a confident man, you shouldn't really be jealous of anybody.
Absolutely,
because
yeah.
you shouldn't be insecure about anything, or you should trust your girlfriend enough to, like, say, hang out with people, or, you know, just have those interactions with males. I know it kind of got a little off of the original point, but
well, not exactly. You're talking about security, and in terms of, you know, how things are going or how things go in relationships. I think that's a big thing, you know. I mean, you know, it's not like this relationship ain't gonna be going nowhere, you know, if you aren't secure in yourself.
yeah.
The same thing goes for the other partner. So I mean, I definitely get that, and I guess you're right. I should have thought more about sorry, I don't know. I don't know. I just think that you can be confident in yourself in a number of areas, but it's like you said, it's that insecurity in a specific area. You know, that guy has something I'm lacking, and that's probably why he's got her attention. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's as simple as it gets with relationship-wise. If you're like jealous of someone, that's the easiest way to look at it, in my opinion.
So, what is confidence? Let's think about that. Let's kind of define it. You know, what does it mean to be a confident person?
The ability to be comfortable in your own skin, I believe. The ability to take what you have about yourself and project it with positive energy on people. I believe that's a very good definition of confidence.
Okay. I would say confidence is when you know what you know and you know what you don't know, and you're comfortable navigating the world with
All right,
that.
I like that. That's a good definition. I like that.
'Cause like the confident person can say I don't know and be perfectly comfortable with that. It's a very important and very adult, mature thing to be able to do. Like if you're walking in a space where you don't know, you can just pull stuff out of your butt. But the more mature person says, I don't know, but I will figure it out. You know, I know how to get to that truth, that answer.
And I think confident people take critiques and like advice very well, as opposed to the insecure person that might not, like if they both don't know a certain situation and they do something wrong, and someone comes up to them and says, hey, how about you try this? The confident person will take that and be like, okay, cool, I'll learn from it next time. And the insecure person would be like, oh, he has it out for me.
They take it personal.
Yeah, they take it personal.
Yeah. Oh, God. I just thinking back in my life, when I was in high school, man, as a lot of people did, I had a lot of insecurity issues. I didn't have a specific like group of people that I fit in with for probably like a minute in high school. So I really had a lot of insecurity issues, and I took stuff personally a lot. Anything anybody would say to me, you couldn't tell me nothing. Because I just knew, like, oh, it's just because you don't like me. That was my biggest thing, people not liking me. I just dwelled on that so much. Oh, thank God I'm past that now, though. But yeah, that was a big deal.
See, I have two stories that I clearly remember from high school, middle school, that era. Well, one was soccer, of course. I mean, I've learned a lot of shit from soccer. And the biggest one is back when I wasn't as good as I came to be. Every time someone better than me would say, hey, how about you try doing this? I'd be like, oh, well, it just comes natural to you. Screw you. Like, I'm going to do it on my own, you know, that type of thing. And as I grew, as I became more confident, I slowly started taking those critiques better and actually putting them into practice. And I think that's what made my game jump up even more, you know? Having that confidence initially, taking those critiques, building on them, and gaining more confidence, which it's just like a compounding effect as I progressed. Yeah. And the other big one is I'm still really short. Okay, I'm 6'7", 6'6".
You mean 5'7"?
Oh yeah. See, there it is again. Honestly,
Freudian slip there.
Yeah.
I'm 6'7". Yeah. The doctors say 6'6", but you know how it is.
Yeah.
With
see,
my shoes
it's
on,
still
I'm 6'7".
it's still haunting me. You know, I'm 5'6", and
damn.
Back when in middle school, when I was like freaking 5'1", everybody was like, "Oh, why are you so short? Come on, Nico, where you at?" And I just get so angry. It's like, man, it's not my fault that I'm short. It's my dad's fault. Why does he have to put me through this? And as I grew up, I became more confident in my height, and I think that's really allowed me to excel in all other areas of my life, just because I've projected that confidence now, and it's helped me interact with people better. You know?
That's the good thing about your definition of confidence. You say it as a comfort in your skin. You don't you feel like you don't have anything to prove to anybody, you know? You feel like you don't have anything internal, or not anything, but at least you don't have many internal things to overcome. I really feel like confidence is a result of maturity.
Yeah.
You know, when you go through that adolescent period and everything's super awkward in middle school, high school, that's where it emerges. You know, like I can't think of a single person. I remember like the popular kids, they would, you know, they had the act and the moniker, but if I ever got to know any of them personally, you know, they were kind of ducking it, you know, like they're bobbing along on the surface. They look like they're having a good time, but underneath the water, their feet are going like mad. It's that's another thing. You know, what makes people fake it till they make it, so to speak. You know, what makes people put that like confident face on, but when they're really not.
I think it's because they're hiding something, whether it be problems in their own life or insecurities and all and things like that. I think that's why they put on the facade. It's just like why are comedians a thing? Because they're joking about things that are really hurting them in their real life, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, who was it? Shit. The person who was in Jumanji.
Kevin Hart?
No, the old Jumanji. The what is it? Hooked.
Welcome to the jungle. Hooked.
Yeah.
Oh,
his
yeah,
daughter's
Robin
name's
Williams.
Yeah, Robin Williams.
One of the best. Ooh,
And he was so broken. And yet he was one of the probably, in my opinion, one of the better actors of his era. He was so funny. He was so cool. Well, cool as in from what I've seen.
I know, man.
And
real quick to our listeners, Mrs. Doubtfire, Aladdin, and I'm missing one. Awesome Robin Williams film. Forget about it. Just Mrs. Doubtfire and Aladdin. Those are two of my favorite by him. But go ahead. Sorry.
And people are wondering why he committed suicide and all that. Well, it's because he's putting on that facade because there's a really deep problem that he's trying to run away from or hide from.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what it is for people in middle school. I mean, why do bullies bully, you know?
Yeah.
Probably because they get bullied at home and they're insecure about themselves and they want to pick on someone to make them feel bigger and better, you know?
Mm-hmm. You know, there was this thing. I was watching this video. These two social psychologists were talking about bullying, and they were talking about specifically the way that what the kids do, bullies do, is they tend to, like, at first, if they come into a new area, like it's the new grade, they have a new whole class of people that they haven't seen before. What they typically do is they kind of feel everybody out. They put a general net of negativity out around everybody and see how each person responds. And the kids that, you know, like kind of, you know, fight back a bit, stand up for themselves a bit, or ignore him, or I said him, but, you know, everybody's a bully, especially girls. Once they hit those teenage years, it's mean girls for real. It's mean girls for real. I got a 10-year-old, I got a 12-year-old cousin, and she's going through it right now. Because those little girls, the second that they hit puberty, some of them just get evil. But yeah. That's what they do. They put out their little feelers, and they see, okay, this kid can stand up for himself. This kid's going to ignore me. I'm not going to get any attention. But this kid, they do exactly what I want. They kind of shy away, and they kind of take it. And that's who they target. That's one of the things that this is what's so, like, pernicious about bullying. It often will take a while for the kid who's getting bullied to speak up or something. And if the teacher or whoever is, you know, watching over these kids isn't super vigilant, you know, it can take a minute, and the kids really suffer, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about that then. Have you had any experiences with bullying?
Ooh, yeah, I've had a lot. I really have. Let's see. My first experience with bullying socially, like outside of, you know, I think your family. Let me first kind of like put a like bifurcation here. Like there's you know, joking around, clowning around, roasting people, and then in my family and in a lot of households, but particularly black families, it's like a thing. Like we do it all the time. Like it goes back to roasting the dozens and to all kinds of stuff, you know, in our up our family trees. So it's there's like a big thing with, like, you know, just making fun of each other. And that's something that friends do and people who love each other do. That's separate from what I would call bullying. But bullying definitely is. I see this dimension in which you're lacking, and I think you should feel bad about yourself, and I'm not going to let you forget it. That's what bullying is.
Yeah.
And even if there ever is a point in which you overcome it, you typically, if you go through elementary school, middle school, high school with a bully, they won't let you forget it. Yeah. So one of my earlier on, I was like one of 2 black dudes at our elementary school. So like I got kind of like a bit of. I got a bit of not like people not wanting to deal with me, like just kind of like ew, like what it wasn't black people, like it wasn't. I think there's like gradations to racism. I'm not gonna like say like all these little 5-year-old, 6-year-old kids are like David Duke racist or anything like that, but there are a lot of folks who will especially if they haven't had experiences yet, they will kind of just shy away.
Yeah, they'll be hesitant.
Different, yeah. So there was a lot of that. And then this is the worst part. By the 2nd grade, there were a couple of younger black kids that moved into our neighborhood. And then you know what I got? I was too white. And from then on, literally from the 2nd grade on, it just never was like a good thing. It just never was a good thing. And because of the fact I kind of went through all of elementary school and high school with those kinds of people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I that was like the start of me never really fitting in.
Yeah.
As I went in through to middle school and sports and high school and sports and different cliques, band, whatever, I just never really fit in. That was my thing. Like I really feel it kind of stemmed from that initial sort of, he's different. He's white. I don't know how to put it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And I kind of just ping-ponged around, really. I got like a small solid friend group, but they went to CTC after our sophomore year, so I just kind of was adrift for a minute,
Yeah.
That's me, though. What about yourself?
Okay, so I'm a well-known person. I've been a well-known person ever since I can remember, all the way through middle school, elementary school even, and high school. I mean, there's a lot of people that know me that I don't really know much of.
The Libertini boys.
Yeah, I mean, we're very well-known people, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But, so I haven't really had any issues with bullying. It's the people that I know who have gotten bullied, who I've had to stand up for and almost get into a fight with. I think that's the most important thing with the whole bullying situation. Like, again, there's teasing and there's teasing and things like that, which I don't consider bullying because you need a little bit of roughness in your life.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because our generation is getting progressively wimpier and wimpier through all these rules and regulations.
As the babies keep getting churned out, they just keep getting wimpier.
And so, I mean, there's an extent of what I will take with people, but once it passes that threshold, I'm jumping the gun. And there was this one time where I won't name any names, but one of my friends in freshman year, he was just these big guys, I think they were sophomore, juniors, came up to him and they were just talking some shit to him, and I was like, hey guys, can you just back the hell up and like just get away from us? And he was like, oh, what you gonna do about it? I'm like, I may be small, you could probably kick my ass, but you best believe I'm gonna beat the shit out of you while you're beating the shit out of me. I might not win, but regardless, we're both gonna get expelled, so you better fucking back up. And he sensed that, and he was like, all right, chill. And they left him alone. And probably a couple months go by. It's towards the end of the school year at this point, and they were getting back on him. It was, I think it was because it was the last couple of days of school or whatever, and they're just trying to get their shit and trying to give people shit. And one guy pushed him. I saw it. I come not really running, but I come light jogging to him. And I go ahead and push him back. I'm like, if you're gonna fuck with him, you're gonna fuck with me, dude.
Yeah, this is how it's gonna be, man.
He
Yeah.
gave me a push, and I punched him in the stomach, and the teacher stopped us after that.
Mm.
I didn't get in trouble, but the guy got a detention, and he had to do like 2 days of summer school.
I thoroughly appreciate that because I cannot tell you how many interactions I've been in where it's something extremely similar, and the instigator, the person who really is starting this all, they're not the one. They're not the only ones who get punished. I hate it when you know how all throughout elementary school, mostly middle school and high school, they always told us, "Don't be a bystander. Don't be a bystander." And I hate it when somebody steps into a fight or something like that, and yes, maybe they get a little physical, but they're trying to quash this, not make this into a full out thing. I hate when they get in trouble too. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, you clearly threw punches, and that's against the school policy. It's like,
I just wanna clarify. I did not do anything to the guy when I hit him in the stomach. Like he just like winced a bit and. Yeah. He was just like, all right, time to beat the shit out of this kid. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. So I probably would have got the shit kicked out of me if there wasn't someone there. And the teacher, I'm glad that was the reason I didn't get the shit kicked out of me, because I would have actually got the shit kicked out of me if she wasn't there.
Dang, man. Yeah. I thoroughly appreciate that, by the way. You gotta... Like I said, you gotta have there's no other word for it. You gotta have the balls to just be able to step up to someone and tell them off and say, hey, this is what's gonna happen if you cross this line, and then mean it. And then when that time comes when they cross that line, you gotta do what you said you were gonna do. Yeah, that's really important. And that earns you respect. Mm-hmm. That's the thing too. And that's essentially, as I went through high school, particularly with some of the kids that I played on sports teams with, that's how I started to gain confidence and at least graduate from that whole era of bullying, being bullied by the same group of people. That I eventually had to set some boundaries. Yeah,
that's what you have to do.
You got to set the borders of how this relationship is going to go. Otherwise, they're going to set all the borders.
And I think a big thing to avoid being bullied is just be confident. Again, this circles back to the whole confidence topic that we started earlier. If you are confident, I mean, most likely the bullies aren't gonna mess with you.
I don't want this whole episode to be focused on bullying, but I am gonna say that just this one last point on this. That's the struggle, It's almost as if the part of you that is. It's almost as if the bullies have a point. You know what I mean? That you are flawed, and you gotta have some sort of change in your life, and that's what I think one of the hardest things to accept is. That you kinda have to be better. A better version of yourself.
Yeah.
Not necessarily better along the dimension that the bullies are bullying you, but at least in my life, the me that let people push me around, the me that let people say whatever they wanted to my face, that's a worse me. Now I'm not gonna take it. Now when some kid just comes out of nowhere talking all kinds of mess, I'm like, no, you're not gonna talk to me that way. You better watch your mouth. You're not gonna cuss at me like that. This ain't how this is gonna be.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do that, you can go over there. And that's an important thing to have in your life. That's an important skill.
And that's
it's
a really
to gain though.
Yeah, that's a really good way to end that topic on bullying.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually we were talking about me going to the gym at 4:30, and that really that something clicked in my head. It's like, man, where's my motivation? And I think that'd be a good last topic for the day is. Motivation, what is it? Why does it come and go? Is it even a reliable energy source or a reliable driver for your actions? And what do you think other avenues that you could take instead of using that motivation as opposed to other types of drivers?
Okay, so you're talking about a specific motivation? What is your specific
just motivation
okay.
in general?
Okay,
yeah.
I hear you.
Because in my opinion, I believe motivation isn't isn't good.
It's not good.
Well, not that it's not good, but
Yeah,
it's
explain
unreliable.
what you mean.
It's unreliable.
It's unreliable.
Yes.
Okay.
I think the better driving force that you should be using is just habit.
Habit.
Yeah, as opposed to what's the word?
Motivation.
Motivation. Jesus Christ.
I think I'm kind of grasping what you mean. Let me spit it back
Yeah,
and see
go for it.
if we're on the same page here. Motivation is that thing when you're like kicking yourself in the butt, to do a thing. You're saying, I am going to go to the gym. Like that's the example you gave. I'm going to go to the gym at 4:30. Jeez, that's a tough thing to do. It's tough to get up. It's tough to get up early enough to be able to be somewhere at 4:30. That's a tough thing to do. It'd be different if you said like I'm waking up and I'm gonna run, because you can just like wake up, throw your clothes on, at like 4:25. 5 minutes later, you can be running at 4:30. You gotta like get your butt up out of bed, get your clothes on, physically go to the gym. Yeah, that's what motivation is. Whereas habit is, I get up and I go to the gym every day at 4:30, or 4 times a week or whatever at 4:30. That's what you mean habit is. And you don't have to kick yourself in the butt. You don't have to force yourself to do things. It's like going to school.
Yeah, it's a ritual.
Like brushing your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
It's like going to bed, making your bed, eating your dinner. It's a ritual. It's not a... You don't have to force yourself to do it. In fact, if you don't want to do it, you have to force yourself not to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you mean. And you want habit to be that driver of your activity rather than the kicking yourself in the butt.
Yeah, and I forget, did you mention that motivation comes and goes?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
that is an important thing.
That is the key point in why I would choose habitual habits over motivation.
So like a habitual living versus motivational living. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm freaking screwing up my words again.
It's fine. It's been a day.
I know, really. Motivation, yeah, it may be good to start something off in the short term, but you're never gonna have that You're not gonna have that motivation forever, and you need to get to a point where it is so. It's like built into your day to where you are like striving to get there, like go to the place you need to do, go to the gym, get up early, that type of thing. As opposed to, I'm just going to brute force my way through this and just see what happens. Because I think that's the big thing is once you lose that motivation and you didn't make it a habit.
Yeah.
That's where it kills you. That's where you have that relapse effect, where you just stop and you go in the complete opposite direction.
Yeah. Instead of running a mile every day, now you're on the couch eating potato chips.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that is the downside for motivation.
Okay. I hear you, and I definitely think I'm getting I understand what you're getting at. Like if you're going to be the type of person who's in the gym every week or at the same amount of times every week or whatever your goal is, if you're the type of person who has these goals that you regularly meet, you're not gonna get there, or you're not gonna be that person by kicking yourself in the butt every morning. You just gotta be that person, and then once you've been that person, you're gonna be that person.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get there? That's what I'm trying to grasp here. Like, how do you get from point A to point B habitually? I mean, as I imagine it, right now you got the bad habits.
Yep.
Right now you're sleeping until 9 a.m. Right now you're. By the way, I just have to stop myself real quick. I just said sleeping into 9 a.m. When I was like in high school, or probably my freshman year of college too, sleeping into 9 a.m. was like, whoa, it's 9 a.m. Wow, why am I up so early? Jesus Christ. And now I think I'm an adult now. That's what it is. I'm like, well, 7 o'clock.
Probably.
Ooh, I'm late. Oh, I better get going. It's 7 o'clock. Wow. Like, what's wrong with me? What happened? Where did sleep till 2 p.m. Marcus go?
Yeah.
Ah, damn. But yeah. I have a question for you. How do you get from point A to point B without motivation? What gets you there?
I think going back to our previous episode, I think setting goals and achieving just the littlest goals to slightly progress your way each day, I think that's a very good way to achieve that habituation.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. Okay. Keep going, though.
I mean, you could go as far as just setting a reminder on your phone, like, hey, you need to go do this. You need to go walk for 15 minutes. You need to go to the gym.
Yeah, whatever level you're at, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the thing that's helped me the most for that habituation is having an accountability partner. Having someone there that I check in with like every week or every other week, that if I let down, I'm going to be upset about it. And I think that pushes me to continue on into making it a habit, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I think those, what were they, 3 or 4 points? 3?
Those, I think 3. Motivation isn't going to get you there.
No. The accountability partner, the reminder on your phone, and the goal setting. Yeah, so I think those 3.
Got you.
If you put those into practice and really, really hunker down on that, I think those will benefit you the most in giving yourself a new habit into your life.
Yeah, and that's essentially what my epiphany moment was. The habit that you're really getting yourself into, it's not a habit of any specific goal. You're in the habit of setting goals, setting plans for achieve those goals, and then, doing it, and making sure you do it socially. Like you said, the accountability partner. And once you get into the habit of being that type of person, once you're the type of person that sets goals, plans out how to achieve them, and make sure and does everything that you can to make sure that you do, it doesn't matter what task you set. It actually doesn't matter what task you set. I see, and yeah, that's what the epiphany moment was. That's what that aha moment was. You got it. Yeah. My whole thing was like, well, if motivation, you know, if you're not going to kick yourself in the butt for 30 days, how are you going to make that a habit, you know? You know, everybody always talks about how, 20, 30 days of doing something, now you're the person who does this. How are you going to get there if you're not grinding, kicking yourself in the butt? But I see what you're saying. Get that goal setting mentality down. Do it habitually. Do it every night. Do it. Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot.
I think that was a very good way to wrap up that topic as well. We have a couple minutes. In the last episode, because I listened to the last part of it, because we've been having an issue with cutting it off late, like early. Oh, okay. We didn't talk about. Well, it cut off before I could talk about that special little topic at the end.
Oh, Jesus Christ! We did do that, didn't we?
Well, no, it wasn't that. It was the exporting process. It fucked it up. Whatever.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to start writing a book. I've been taking journals and each day and just how my life is as a teenage dad. So that's going to be a couple year process. I think probably. So that's what I've been working on. That was my big thing. And Bearded Goat's fall and winter lineup, fire, dude. I am so excited to buy it. It's out now. It's out now. I just haven't had the money yet to buy it. So if anybody wants any Bearded Goat clothing, I've been working with them since before this podcast. You can use Nico L15 for 15% off. And they have free shipping on orders of $85 or more. Freaking phenomenal clothing, dude. Like, I went to it's based out of Arkansas. Everything's made in the U.S. Right. Super cool, super good quality clothing. Graphics on the T-shirt are really cool. And honestly, if I had a couple more pairs of shirts, pants, and shorts, I would ditch the rest of my wardrobe because I just love.
It's that.
Oh yeah,
Oh wow.
Their clothing is so good. And
wow, man, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad you already got that partnership set up too.
Yeah, and again, if you guys want to check it out, beardedgoat.com. It's a very, very simple URL, and just give it a look. If you don't want anything, you don't have to. If you want to buy stuff, I got a pretty sweet discount, 15%.
No, let me ask you real quick. When you went out, to Arkansas, was this kind of just when you met the bearded goat folks? Was it just kind of like happenstance? Was it just serendipity, or did you know anybody, or did it just kind of fall in your lap?
Yeah, it kind of fell in my lap. We went to Fayetteville, which is where they're based out of.
Yeah.
And when we were just walking around Fayetteville with my uncle, my friends found Bearded Goat, and they're like, dude, you guys need to come check this store out. I'm like, and we're all like, okay, sure. I ended up spending like $100-ish there, $150-ish. And I was like, hey, if you have anything to allow me to get involved with this clothing company, please let me know. And I ended up posting a picture on Instagram, tagging them, messaging them every once in a while, like, hey, I'm like seriously into this. If you have anything, just let me know. And they came back to me with a sponsorship. So
yeah, man, you tenaciously got after them.
Yeah,
that's not too bad looking. So they were probably like, yeah, this guy is exactly who we want to be the face of our brand.
I'm going up to Arkansas for Thanksgiving, and I'm probably gonna stop by, see how is it going, and seeing if they need any help with anything. So hopefully we can work with them. I might try and work something out with the actual podcast. That'd be really cool.
I would absolutely love sponsors.
Hell yeah.
That'd be pretty sick. I don't know how we'd work it. We'd have to talk about that a bit more.
Yeah.
About how we work it. But yeah, I think that's a great idea, Neek.
And I think we have one more thing.
One more thing?
Yeah, we are going to be starting an Instagram for Porch Talk. So that'll be coming up here in the next probably day.
Yeah. We had a conversation a little while back about what kind of value creating individual social media accounts or an individual social media account for this podcast would be, and yeah, we came to the conclusion that we need to do something like that. We could post all kinds of promotional content. Thinking of even putting out a little bit of a snippet of the video, in order to build hype. Let people know what we're going to be talking about, get them encouraged, get them excited for it. Probably going to post the intro or something like that. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Both Nico and I will pop out everything about it on our social media when we finally do make that come through the pipeline. So, yeah. Any other news? Anything else we should talk about, man?
Not that I know of, man. Just living our lives,
Yeah, I'm loving life. I'm loving life. I'm loving this podcast, and I guess that's it. Yeah. I've been Marcus.
I've been Nico.
And this was Porch Talk.